Hello, my name is Alyssa Sweet, and I'm one of the OTs here at the Teach Group. Today we will be finishing off our primitive reflexes series, and we're finishing with our last one that's called the TLR. So what are primitive reflexes? So primitive reflexes are reflexes that are involuntary automatic movements that infants have before or even at birth. Their main purpose is to help us survive and then also to help us develop our milestones. So integration is when these reflexes, once they hold their purpose, they go away. So they integrate fully. And so a lot of times these primitive reflexes help our kids learn how to crawl or roll over or even help them walk. So the impact of retained reflexes can impact us with our learning abilities, our being able to do our motor functions, our attention, and a bunch of other things. So what is the TLR? So we call it the TLR for short because it's called the Tonic Labyrinth Reflex, and sometimes it's a mouthful. So a lot of times you'll hear your OTs just call it the TLR. So this one, its main purpose is for foundation stability. So it teaches our children about gravity. It helps strengthens our neck muscles. It helps with our head management and then even our postural stability as we're standing and sitting. So it also has a motor kind of function to it as well. So it helps our babies learn how to crawl and roll over and even learn how to walk. So this one, it's a two-part one. So there's something called, it's prone extension and then supine flexion. So both of those should fully integrate by the time that a kid is 3.5 years old. So why does integration matter, especially with our TLR? So it can help our kids with their muscle tone, their overall posture as they're sitting and standing. It can help them with their spatial awareness issues. So if this is retained, they'll have issues with that. So they can bump into things in their environment. They can have difficulties with handwriting. We can also see things such as toe walking or even motion sickness. We can see visual perception challenges. So they might have difficulty being able to do jigsaw puzzles or being able to flip or turn things in their head. That can also impact writing because they might see certain letters like B's and D's look the same in their brain. We can also see things such as decreased balance, poor ocular motor skills, and that can impact us in our reading. And then also decreased organization skills as well. So how do we assess the TLR? So as OTs, there's two ways to test it since there is two parts to our TLR reflex. So the first one is prone extension. So you're going to lay on your stomach. You're going to lift your arms up off the ground. Kind of the upper part of your chest is going to come off the ground. And then also your legs are going to come off the ground. So we call this one kind of like the Superman position. So it looks like you're flying. So what we want to do is for the child to be able to hold this for 20 to 25 seconds. So that's considered typical. So if this is retained, you might see difficulty with holding the posture for 20 to 25 seconds. They might bend their elbows instead of keeping them out straight. They might fatigue. They might bend their legs. So those are things that would indicate that this TLR is retained. The second way that we can test it is for our supine flexion. So they're going to lay on their back. They're going to cross their arms over their chest. They're going to bend their knees up and their feet are going to come off the floor. So it's kind of like looking like they're coming into a ball. And again, they're going to hold this for 20 to 25 seconds, and that would be typical, meaning that it's not retained. So if it is retained, they're going to, again, have difficulty maintaining this position. They might fatigue. They might only can hold it if they're holding their legs, which deactivates their core muscles. So if this is retained, we're going to want to do integration activities to help kind of speed that integration along and help it along. So one way that we can do this is downward dog and cobra. So the way that they're going to start with this is on their hands and knees. And so we want their fingers to be flat. So we don't want them to be curled. So we want them flat. Then they're going to lift their knees off the ground, dropping their head and extending their hips forward. So they're kind of looking like an N or upside down V. They're going to hold this for 5 to 7 seconds. Then they're going to kind of bend their knees and they're going to come slowly down to the floor and kind of extend. So it kind of looks like a cobra, like this, and then eventually they're going to push their arms straight and they're going to be looking up towards the sky and holding that for 5 to 7 seconds. And they're basically going to do this downward dog to cobra about 7 times. Another way that we can integrate it, another exercise would be what's called rainbow breathing. So this one, they're going to kind of stand with like a neutral back. They're going to breathe out, and then they're going to squat down with their eyes looking down towards their palms. So kind of see how her eyes are kind of looking at her palms, and they're going to hold that for 1 to 3 seconds. Then they're going to breathe in as they're standing up, and then they're going to extend their arms into a V shape above their, kind of out to the side with their head up. So breathing out while they're, and then doing it again. So then they're going to breathe back out while they're squatting. They're going to repeat this 5 to 7 times. So final thoughts, key takeaways, that it's important to remember that our reflexes or retained reflexes are common. They're also treatable, that we can do the reflex exercises. We can do those to kind of help integrate those reflexes and get it to come along. It's also important that when we're doing the reflex exercises, we want to do them consistently. We want to do them correctly to kind of help. So doing those reflexes 1 to 2 times each day with those repetitions is going to help kind of integrate that retained reflex a little bit faster. So as integration improves, skills like balance, body awareness, coordination, and learning can improve. So here at the Teach Group, we would love to help your child if you need it, or if you have any questions about reflex integration. That we've done a whole series on it. So there's 5 that we kind of look at. You can also email any questions to our socials at theteachgroup.com. And you can also find us on our website as well. And we're also on Instagram and TikTok as well. We would love to see you and help you. Thank you.